Welcome to Seabrook, a tight-knit, diverse community where humans and monsters live together in harmony. No more outsiders, no more discord, and definitely no brain-eating. Still far from perfect, Seabrook is a work in progress. But it's progress, which is great because it wasn't always like this. From stolen treasures and forgotten werewolves to the creation of zombies, each day is now a better day for monsters. And a better day for them is a better day for everyone. Addison Wells stood in front of her locker, opening it to grab her chemistry books. A loud slam against the side of her locker startled her, and she jumped into the air. Sorry, didn't mean to scare you. In front of her was Zed, a grin on his face that winced slightly at the noise he had caused. Addison let out a laugh as she wrapped her arms around his shoulders, hugging him briefly. Don't worry about it, it's fine. Behind him, she noticed Bonzo and Eliza. She waved at them before she turned her gaze back to Zed. You look tired, he said. I'm just, a little tired, that's all. I didn't really sleep well. She waved a hand at him nonchalantly while she spoke, a gesture that implored him to forget about it. She wasn't lying when she said that, nor was she fully telling the truth. She actually hadn't slept well. At least, she hadn't slept well after having sporadically woken up in the middle of the night. Addison was normally a deep sleeper. However, yesterday, she had felt a weird feeling, like someone calling her name, or something waking her up. When she groggily opened her eyes, and she was met with the flickering light of her alarm, a sudden clash had followed, like an explosion right outside her window. Her parents and everyone in the neighborhood had woken up at the unknown noise, running outside in their sleepwear with endless questions. It wasn't until the police patrol had arrived and sent them all back home, lips shut tight, and no explanations whatsoever. Her mom had gotten a call in the meanwhile, and she had left early in the morning to her office at the city council, most likely to handle the situation. So yes, Addison was lost and confused as to what had happened last night, just like many Seabrook residents. But she was also more confused about why she felt like she was connected to the strange phenomenon, whatever it was. Lost in her train of thoughts, Addison didn't realize that her friends were talking about just that. They say it was in the Forbidden Forest. Nobody knows though, because the patrol has it blocked off. Guess they're trying to keep things under wraps to avoid panic, which is stupid, by the way. We have a right to know, Eliza complained, her hands holding tightly around her laptop. Maybe it's better that way. People are already worried enough as it is. Keeping it on the down low when they don't even know what it is helps prevent people from panicking. Zed shrugged, keeping his arm wrapped around Addison. Wait, so nobody knows what it is? The white-haired girl asked, and Eliza shook her head. Some people say they saw something fall from the sky, but there's no way to prove that since nobody is allowed to actually look, the zombified girl replied before twisting her body in Zed's direction. And people are already panicking. Look around you, it's the only thing people are talking about. Addison did as Eliza said. She hadn't even noticed the whispering that was going on around them. The bell rang at that moment, and Bonzo and Eliza said their goodbyes. Zed turned to her, chuckling slightly at Addison's scrunched-up face. Do you have something on your... We need to go, she cut him off. And Zed widened his eyes in surprise. Like, to class? I mean, I know, I was going to walk... No. She leaned forward, lowering her voice. To the Forbidden Forest. We need to go and check it out. Sputtering at her sudden declaration, he shook his head vigorously. No way, Addie. Who knows what that was? Just leave it to the patrols, okay? Maybe it's dangerous, like radioactive or something. I don't think it is. Addison tapped her chin, and then lifted her head to meet Zed's eyes. I have a feeling it's not. He knitted his eyebrows together, a small frown etching on his face. She could tell that he wanted to ask how she knew, but she quickly opened her mouth to stop him from doing so. Just, please, can you trust me? Sighing, he scratched the back of his neck, a nervous tic of his. Okay, fine. We'll go. But right after sundown. There are less patrols, and it's less dangerous than going out too late in the night. She hugged him tightly once more, a grin on her face. Thank you, Zed. Yeah, I'm amazing, I know. So, we have no idea who took the hat? Zilch? Nada? Carlos asked, an inquiring eyebrow raised. The four VKs walked down the bridge, the silhouette of the aisle becoming bigger and bigger as their hurried footsteps scuffed the ground in their haste. I'm pretty sure that's what she said, dude, Jay answered him, while Evie placed a hand on Mal's shoulder. She could see the strain of the pressure that fell on her friend. We'll figure it out. Together. Mal whispered a quiet, thanks, in response. But I would still like to point out that we still have no plan, Carlos added. Jay hit him on the shoulder, sending him a pointed look. What? I was just saying. Mal glanced at Cruella's son, stubbornly acquiescing. Hopefully, she sighed, Uma will know something. It was, however, as they stepped into the aisle, passing the entranceway, that they stopped. Their blanched countenances were cinched with puzzlement as a deafening silence buzzed in the air, their eyes speedily scanning the area. Is it just me, or... Carlos trailed off, but Evie finished his thoughts. Everyone's gone. Mal peered at her friends. Carlos had his hands cupped around his mouth, yelling a cutting, hello? In hopes that someone would respond. Unfortunately, he was met with nothing. We need to go find Uma. If she isn't gone, where is everyone? Jay asked. Let's keep looking. There has to be someone. Not everyone can be gone. With Mal's words in mind, the four marched on. Zhang Li? Mal asked, noticing a small boy hidden within the cans and bins scattered on the floor. Zhang Li, the son of Shan Yu, was quiet and didn't speak much. He was only 11 years old and was always running and hiding about the aisle. He seemed scared, his head hidden in the comfort of his arms. He looked up, however, at the sound of his name. His long black hair was ruffled, while his eyes seemed slightly sunken in. She approached him carefully, not wanting to frighten him further. Are you okay? He didn't answer, and she crouched to see him at eye level. Do you know what's going on? He crumpled his face as he closed his eyes firmly. I don't think he wants to tell us, Mal, Carlos said. She nodded and tried a different tactic. Do you know where Uma is? At the sound of her name, he quickly opened his eyes, nodding his head vigorously. Uma's right here, a friendly voice came from behind her, and Mal quickly stood up in the direction it came from. Uma! The group yelled happily, and the green-haired girl exhaled in relief. Boy, am I glad to see you guys. As happy as I am, we got a problem. Jay looked around dramatically, jerking his head all around. We can see that. Where is everyone? Gone. Nerissa has the sorcerer's hat. Mal raised both her eyes in shock. Nerissa did this? She exclaimed, her mouth curved down to grimace. Last time I saw her, she was down in the caves after she tried to challenge my mom. She learned her lesson after that. Apparently she didn't. I don't know what she did, but all of a sudden there was this blue light, and suddenly, everyone disappeared. Harry, Gil... Uma turned to Zhang Li, smiling lightly at him. Well, almost everyone. How come you and Zhang didn't? Uma didn't say anything. Instead, she took out her necklace and showed it to Carlos. They all understood. The necklace helped me deflect whatever weird spell it was that she cast over the aisle. Zhang was with me at the time, so it protected us both. But it wasn't strong enough to protect everyone, Uma explained. Her tone was sad, and a frown replaced her smile. Evie rubbed her comfortingly. Do you know where Nerissa is? Mal asked. And Uma bobbed her head. My best bet is the cave. There's nowhere else she could have gone. Mal placed her hands on her hips, shifting her gaze to her boots pensively. In a flash, she turned around and faced the group with a determined expression. Evie, Carlos, Jay, and I will go to the cave. Uma, you should take Zhang Li to Aradon. Tell Ben everything you told me. Uma appeared conflicted, and Mal sent her a reassuring glance. Trust me, Uma. We'll fix this. If anything happens, you can come back with everyone and give us a backup. But right now, Aradon needs to know. They both watched each other. Mal shook Uma's free hand in promise. We'll stop her.